Suddenly, Linzer Cookie. On the 19th of December 2023, Linzer Cookie was released alongside Creme Brulee Cookie. And whilst Creme Brulee Cookie quickly cemented himself as the undisputed best boss killer, Linzer wasn't quite able to get her footing. But a bit afterwards, he started being used in the Red Velvet Dragon, then the Skirmish Raid, then Alliance, and now suddenly he's a top tier damage amplifier in almost every game mode. But why exactly is that the case? How did he go from mid to must have without getting a single balance change? That is the question this video aims to answer. Linzer Cookie is undoubtedly one of the most unique cookies we've had in quite a while. Unlike other cookies that use their normal attacks to deal damage or heal your team, he writes fanfiction, which grants her a stack of deduction. Deduction can stack up to 7 times, and further normal attacks do absolutely nothing, which leads to attack speed overcapping with Robe, but heavy attack speed investments required without Robe, causing a large possibility of unoptimized or wasted stats. Her reliance on getting all 7 deduction stacks is also a big con against her, as it makes it super difficult to use her without attack speed subs at all. Well then, why are those points against Linzer's viability being brought up? It's simply because Dev Sisters are great at balancing cookies and knows that cookies with drawbacks should be consolidated with a better payoff. Obviously. When Linzer Cookie casts her skill, she deals an almost negligible amount of area damage, followed by a 3 ticks of less negligible damage to the enemy with the highest attack, or the enemy that has taunted her. I had to figure this out the hard way. Additionally, she gives your entire team 15% crit rate, as well as consuming all of her deduction stacks to apply an attack down and the suspect debuff to the main target. The attack debuff is nice, but it's mainly just for the Red Velvet Dragon, applying a 5% attack down debuff and an additional 2% for each deduction stack, totaling up to 19%. The suspect debuff, however, is where her main value lies. It is a 10% all-type vulnerability that gains an additional 10% for each deduction stack, totaling up to 80% at the max 7 stacks. This type of damage amplification is even more potent than 3 entire stacks of a Clear's debuff. Furthermore, if she has the max 7 deduction stats when casting her skill, she applies a 35% defense down, as well as giving your entire team a 22.5% crit damage boost. This amount of single target damage amplification is absolutely incredible, which goes back to the earlier point and begs the question, why wasn't she good when she first released? There's a few factors that will lead up to answering said question. The most important one being the environment of the game when she released. When she released, she would have been an entire month away from the release of these games, which would have given her a much easier time capping her attack speed while still having damage resist and cooldown, which she very much needed for the RVD. Additionally, there were much fewer large single target enemies when she released, with the main one being only the Red Velvet Dragon, which she wouldn't be able to survive anyway. It also doesn't help that her damage output is only enough to screw her over through damage reflect in the RVD, but not enough to contribute to a significant amount to other battles, forcing her to only be usable in RVD when she has a low level skill, excluding the people who actually have the resources to build her and test her because they have already raised her skill. Do you see the problem? Nowadays, we have the stupid fucking Swan in Alliance, and formerly the Skirmish Raid and currently the Megado to act as good targets for Linzer's skill, which heavily boosts her value as you can use her to her fullest extent in more game modes than just RVD. Also, she had an arena team and now it's suddenly gone. I have no clue what happened to that, but sure, okay, that happened. You can say Linzer was arena meta once. Cool. Overall, due to Linzer Cookie's powerful debuff locked behind a unique drawback, her to need to wait for the correct environment to thrive, which was not present upon her release but is ever present in the current meta, causing her to skyrocket in overall strength. Go build her. She is very good. Like, holy shit, she is... Oh my god.